Good morning. July 30th.
Yes, it is.
We're going to have closings for the next 2 days like crazy. Tomorrow's the end of the month, which will be the first month of the third quarter. I am zoomed out. I've been zooming, and learning lots of stuff, which we'll impart on you guys today. Miss Megan, this is a busy time of the month for you. So we'll let you come in, give us some good words, and get back to work.
All right. Yeah, we are pretty busy these next couple of days. I just wanted to remind everybody about our training for August. It's the second Thursday of the month at 9 a.m. It is on clouds on title. So do you ever wonder when a title agent tells you that there's a cloud on title and what that means and why it's going to delay closing? This training is going to go over that with you. Karen is going to be pushing that out for us. We've had a couple of trainings with Karen. She is wonderful. She's so informational. This class is going to be a bit different because we are also going to have a representative from the underwriter live in Apollo Beach. So we will provide breakfast on that morning. So if you can make it in person, please do. If you know you're going to be there, let me know so we can get a good head count so we know how many people to get breakfast for. But I'm excited to see everybody in person and on Zoom.
Okay. Cool. All right. Thank you very much. A great 2 days. You know how it works. End of the month, we cram them with closings. And then what happens at the beginning of the month? No, post-closing. That's when they've got to close everything out. So they do the closings, they got to do all the paperwork. So it's a busy, busy time of month. So thank you for all your hard work.
You are very welcome. You guys are kicking butt. Have a great week.
All right. So we made an investment to help you guys, right? And we're not seeing the adoption that I think we should be seeing in the Zillow showcase. And Zillow has been very, very supportive with us. And to that point, they've hired a concierge just to work with you guys specifically. So if you need anything. So Lindsay is online right now. I want to introduce her to you. There she is. You're muted. There you go.
Hey, can you guys see me? I can't even. Ooh.
Yes. Well, you are in California, right?
I am in California. Sorry, I'm trying to back out here. Give me just 1 second.
Your camera was on. You had the Golden Gate Bridge behind you.
Oh, perfect. Okay, I was like, I actually can't see you guys now. For some reason, it's just showing me in the background. But yeah, just want to say hi to everybody. I am available to you at any time. So yeah, I've been reaching out individually, and I have met with a couple of agents so far. But yeah, I just want to make sure that everyone knows that I'm available to support you and really leverage Showcase to its maximum potential. I've seen a lot of amazing things happen. So yeah, would just really love to be here as you know, your support system, and also, you know, any feedback or anything that any thoughts you have. You know, I'm gonna be the one who's bubbling all of this up to the top and sharing with my team internally. So that's really valuable to us.
Can you try to put your camera on one more time?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Was I off?
Yes, there you go.
I'm so sorry. Okay.
You said he Zoomed with you yesterday and you were great. So like, what kind of help can you help us with?
So really anything. So anything from technical support, anything as far as like your profiles getting set up. If you need to be walked through the system, I will say that you have an amazing team. You've done a really great job. I mean, everybody has been you guys know what you're doing already. I almost feel like you make my job super easy, but any technical issues that you may run into. And also we have the marketing piece. So, you know, definitely come to me if you want me to help you leverage the marketing. I know a lot of you are doing this already. You're doing a great job, but leverage me, leverage my expertise, the insights that I have from meeting with other agents. And just a little background about me too. Outside of Zillow, like I do have a passion for marketing. I've been known to go viral. It's something that I have a passion for, is really tapping into audiences, crowdsourcing information. So yeah, I have a lot of valuable things to share with everybody. So leverage me the best that you can. Again, I want you to see your investment, you know, just see the value there. So happy to help with anything.
What do you think the two?
I will find out for you.
Right. What do you think are the two biggest perks of putting a Showcase token on a listing?
The two biggest perks, I would
Yep.
definitely say for, well, there's two different things, right? It's the seller or the agent. I think the biggest thing to me, I think people don't really understand again, is leveraging our audience. That's why this was created, right? We have over 200 million, unique monthly visitors. Everybody is on Zillow. I even, I have a lot of friends that reach out to me. The stars, the unique map marker, that stands out. If you've ever had the mobile experience and you're looking at that, it does stand out compared to the other ones. I've had friends ask me, they're like, what is that? You work there. Can you tell me? Like, it does really stick out. So it does a lot of things for you as far as setting yourself apart from other agents in the market, which I know a lot of you already know. But it is the consumer's love of Zillow, right? You're tapping into that. And not only that, I like to say it's very kind of cheesy, but it's essentially your Super Bowl ad on Zillow. I mean, this is how you stand out. And it's really your opportunity to let yourself shine. There's a lot of things that you can do too. I notice, and this is not necessarily a bad thing, but I know there's a lot of uniformity even with the profiles, but I really think that's the opportunity to let your personality shine, let that value prop shine, and just really, really, sometimes I compare it to a dating app or some sort of social media app. This is really your opportunity to shine on Zillow. So I know that was a lot. So happy to answer any questions too.
The one thing I'm seeing is a lot of you are complaining and getting nervous because your listings aren't selling in a week or two. They're going 100 days, 120 days. So this is a way to re-inspire the seller, maybe get a price reduction and start really promoting the listing again. Because we're going to start promoting listings more and more and more. And I'll show you how that goes. Like Jackie told me, got like 4 listings this week. It's crazy, right? They're all different. Cool. Well, it's nice to meet you in Zoom land.
I know. Nice to meet all of you. You've all been so great, like so amazing. So I appreciate that. You're all super awesome.
Jimmy put Lindsay's contact info on the chat. So take a picture of that if you want to.
You got her email, phone number, and a Calendly invite if you want to schedule a one-on-one with her about any of your listings or getting something set up, or if you need help with that.
And I sent you an email on July 15th, so you can look that up. Okay, thank you, Lindsay.
Yeah, thank you. No problem. And I just wanted to say one more thing. I do not have an 800 number, so that is a real direct line to me. So please do not hesitate to reach out to me at all. You will never bother me. I really do want to be here for all of you. So yeah, just wanted to make sure I pointed that out.
It's 3 hours, so be cognizant of that.
Yeah. But I do work the East Coast hours, so I'm an early bird. So I will cater to those hours. So that's the good thing.
Perfect.
Awesome. Thanks so much, team. I'm super excited to meet with all of you. Yeah.
Take advantage of it. Okay. The enlightened perspective for today, I think it's very relevant. You have a choice, don't you? You could believe life sucks, changes are happening, it's going to be very difficult, or you could choose all is well. Which do you think would give you a better edge? All is well, right? So when you think about problems that are coming, or if you're looking at somebody as being a problem, understand things are happening for a reason. What's good about the changes that we're seeing? It's going to be a lot easier for us to get listings because the seller's only paying 1 commission. It's going to be a lot easier for us to get higher commissions from buyers now because we set our own fee, right? And we are going to help you present to make sure that fee is earned and deserved. Does that make sense? That's why I choose to look at it. Okay, with the pyramid, we're all about the exclusive buyer broker agreement for the next few weeks. Way more questions than answers. Chris and I have both been attending classes. We're asking the same question over and over and over again. What happens if the seller is offering X and the buyer is only allowed to receive Y? Where does that difference go? Did anybody answer your question?
No.
Nobody answered mine either. So we got to find an answer to that question, and the listing agreement is due to come out this week.
Correct.
So
They said they will have the exclusive right of sale listing agreement released to us this week, along with the disclosure for our current listings that we will have our seller sign. So all of that should be out this week for us to review and then release to you and then get into .loop. So bear with us. We're just waiting on those forms.
And just tune in. I was so impressed. We had over 120 people online yesterday. So that means we're educating and we're learning, we're doing better. So cool. Okay. 8-6, what happens? no more compensation is displayed on the MLS. But our listing agreements still offer compensation. Right? So we have to tell our sellers, we need another way to offer compensation. So that's the form Chris just mentioned, where we have the seller paying buyer, broker, no, buying, selling broker will pay buyer broker commission, because that's where our listing agreements are written. Once we see the form, we might change that. So we'll see how that goes. 817, what happens? That's when everything goes into effect. That means you can't show property to a buyer without an agreement signed, right? And I'm not trying to scare you, but this is what I've been told from FAR or MLS. MLSs are charged with enforcing the law. They are not going to have you submit a form saying, hey, I did it. But if you request it randomly, you have to be able to provide it. And if you don't, what's the fine? $500.
First offense.
25 second, 15,000 and a hearing in front of the board the third time. So this is not for the faint hearted. That's why I'm scared a little bit for the agents that are not engaging. No, they have the opportunity to watch the webinars because they're being emailed. BAR's doing it, NAR's doing it, and the MLSs are doing it. So there's really no excuse for people not to know.
Even though the implementation date for all of the settlement agreements are 8/17, Stellar is removing compensation on 8/6. Stellar is also making buyer broker representation agreements required on 8/6. If they're removing compensation and there's no longer a guaranteed offer of compensation in MLS, they want to make sure that you as a professional have the ability to be compensated or at least have a guarantee of compensation, which means you will need to get a buyer broker, buyer representation agreement starting 8/6, even though the settlement timeline says 8/17 for the National Association of Realtors implementation. So that's why we're really pushing on this now for you to do this with your buyers now, immediately, so you get the practice, because on 8/6, Stellar will require it. Who's enforcing the regulations?
Stellar.
Stellar. So if Stellar's requiring it and you don't have one within that 10-day period between the 6th and the 17th, do you think you might get fined? Maybe. I don't know.
Say they were going to give a 6-week grace period.
All right. So
Yes. Correct. If you're showing a property to a buyer and you don't have a buyer broker agreement, you are in violation. Yep. Okay, so here's the deal. Seller pays their agent. Let's make this really simple. Buyer pays their agent. Is that fair? Is it different? Yeah, because we always had the seller paying the buyer's agent, right? So now they're breaking that up. But what's the problem with that? Buyers don't have all the cash. So Stellar is going to allow you to put concessions in MLS, which is going to show the intention that the seller is willing to negotiate. That's all it does, because it says when it's put into a written offer. So it's just a point of negotiation, which we're going to have to get very good at. Not much change for listing agents, except agents aren't going to show your listing unless you answer your phone and provide them proof of compensation. Right? So we'll teach you how to do that. Probably Technical Thursday this week. We'll be able to show you in .loop how to have that form ready to go. And then you can have it in your phone and just hit send. Right? So that is that. Buyer's agents no longer have to have an offer of compensation unless they have a signed buyer broker. And there's 3 options. So I've asked Jessica, Kathleen, and Mike to explain the 3 different agreements that we could choose from. Right? And there's reasons for all 3. So you need to know which ones. And some of us are hard closers and we don't mind going for the gusto and just go straight for exclusive buyer broker agreement. Some of us are be a little more meek and say, you know what, maybe we should date before we get committed. And some are going to say, you know what, I don't want to get messed up with this. I just need to be compliant with the rules, sign this, there's no commitment. Okay. So Jessica Beggins, tell us what you're going to tell us.
So I'm going to start off with the actual buyer broker agreement that is more of a long-term product for us. And this is kind of what we've been touching on. This is what we want you to hopefully get signed first. But in order to get this signed, we're going to have to do things differently as agents, and we're going to have to present value. So that's where our Moxie presentations are going to come into play. And we are going to want to either hop on a Zoom call with our clients or meet them in person, maybe buy them a coffee and go over the presentation together and just really explain your value as a realtor and what you are going to do for them as a buyer's agent. And then you'll have the opportunity to present the agreement. And tomorrow at the class, we're actually going to role play this. So make sure you're there tomorrow, from presenting value into presenting the agreement and saying sign here. So in order for them to sign this long-term agreement, you're going to have to show some value. And then the agreement, you got to be real specific. It's the version 7 TB. So TB stands for transaction broker, and it's version 7. So when you go into your buyer loop, it's the one that's already populated there. So we made it really easy for you guys. But long-term commitment, show your value, and really create a genuine relationship with them on that first meeting. If not, you've got a preview, just like a listing, you've got that phone call, generate some connections with them, and then reiterate them in person. Do some active listening. This is where your sales skills really come into play. And I think it can be fun. And then you've got a buyer and you can feel real confident that you can work really hard for them.
Yeah, I love it. And that's a contract. Who's the contract between? The broker and the consumer. So who needs a copy of that?
The broker.
So how do you do that? Put it in .loop and
Submit for review.
submit for review. Now we're going to start tracking these like we do top listing agents, top closing agents, top GCC agents. We're going to start tracking buyer broker agreements because they are contract. That's a contracted buyer. If they sign an exclusive buyer broker agreement, they're probably pretty serious. And we're going to start tracking this.
Well, think about it from a broker perspective. We can track closings. We can track pending contracts. So if we can track closings and we can track pendings that you submit to us, now we have another way of projecting business by
Future
seeing
business.
how many buyer brokerage agreements we have signed that you're actively working with. It's just another thing that we can put into the system and say, this is what the market is doing. This is what it's telling us. Here's some of the value that we should be delivering based on what we're seeing.
Which is super, super cool, I think. Okay, so that's the gusto. That's the big daddy, Mac Daddy, got all the power. Okay, Kathleen, why don't you tell us about the showing agreement?
Good morning. The showing agreement is just a shorter amount of time with specific properties that you want to see, and you get an opportunity to shine and show your value as a professional. Isn't it wonderful to have these agreements in place? No more tire kickers, no show ups. We have commitment in place. We have transparency in place.
Oh, frozen.
Kat, you froze up on us, so we'll pay attention when you come back on. But what she was saying, the showing agreement is basically a little bit of a dumbed down version of the exclusive buyer brokerage agreement. There's no exclusivity. There she is. She's back.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you froze up on us, Kat.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no exclusivity. There's a time frame, specific homes, and it shows what our obligations are. And you'll notice the verbiage is different. Consumer, this is the word we'll get used to using. Consumer obligations to us, compensation or retainer, additional terms, dispute resolution by way of mediation. And think of this as a great way to establish your value. Shine as a real estate professional. You have a commitment here. And then once you roll with these clients for a while, you're pre-approved. Remember that. We're not just going to go running out with buyers without being pre-approved, right? Everybody, right? And once you've done this plethora of homes, hopefully not too many, graduate them up to the exclusive buyer brokerage representation agreement. It's not that hard. I've done 4 so far, went through it. And another thing, just for a quick example, when you're going through it with your clients, or I'm sorry, consumers, like Jessica said, do a Zoom call or meet them in person. I like to meet them at a coffee shop, talk about it, and relate to their profession. Find out if they're a plumber. Well, you always have some type of agreement that shows what your compensation is going to be and what your fees are, right? This is the same thing here, to have transparency. Or if I'm talking to a doctor, same thing. Your office has fees and so forth on your behalf, right? We do the same thing. We're bringing ourselves up to a nice higher level. So shine like the professionals that you are.
What's the weakest part of the showing agreement? The
Non-exclusive.
Right.
work with you, and they can work with you, and they can work with you and Remax and Keller Williams, whoever they want to. So it doesn't really put you in a strong position. but it keeps you compliant with the law. Okay? Mr. Johnson.
So the last one and the shortest of all is the pre-showing agreement or pre-touring agreement, actually. So in this one, you can actually put a certain number of days. Let's say somebody comes they're in town for a weekend and they give you a call and, hey, I want to see a house or a property. Well, the rule is you can't show without an agreement. So there's a pre-touring agreement, which you can set a number of days. But what that gives you is you get contact with that customer and you get to establish the way you do business, get that relationship going, and then work them into signing a buyer's broker agreement. So it's gonna get your foot in the door, even just for those short periods, the people that don't want to sign, don't want a long-term commitment yet. So it's your time to, get them on your side.
And where do we find these forms?
Loop.
Perfect. Thank you. There's a perfect example of what I wanted to accomplish today. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Kathleen. Thank you, Mike. Okay, that one. Okay, I'm going to say it again because I say it every week now. Get familiar with OfferPad. Get familiar with Zillow Showcase. Get familiar with the Beachmaker. Jeff sold one yesterday for $850, a hotel room. Get familiar with your Moxie listing and buyer presentations. Jeff, since I just said Beachmaker, do you want to talk about what you're doing Thursday night and how we can help you?
Yes. Well, what I'm doing is every Thursday night, 6 o'clock, I'm going to zoom out the Beachmaker presentation. So that's for you guys, right? I'm doing it for you and for your customers. So you don't have to absorb all the information about it. I'll just do the pitch. So, but what I want you guys to do is push it out, put it out on your socials, talk to your past clients, send them your Moxie and say, hey, check out one of our new projects. This is something exclusive to us. If it's of interest to you or somebody, please join us for a live 6 to 7 overview and Q&A. And if it's for you, great. If it's not, no big deal. At least you're going to know what's going on the beaches, right? And so it's a great deal. We have incentives like you wouldn't believe right now, guys, because we are fully committed to selling this thing out. And the prices are awesome. And we're paying for a full year of condo fees, shared expense fees, furniture package included, 8% guaranteed return if they want to do it. And also what most people don't know is that we changed the incentive in the very beginning to 60% of the rental will go to the owner, right? For this limited time. So we're able to change that 60% revenue will go to the owners now instead of 55. So we bump that up, and that's just as the incentive, because look, the recognition is this money is going to sit dead for a couple of years, and we know that. And I had a hardcore accountant in here yesterday, right? CPA, and we're just going through the numbers. And I said, I understand you're going to have a couple $100,000 sitting dead for 2 years, 2.5 years, and that sucks because you're getting 8% on your money right now. So the only way we can entice you to doing this is to give you the incentives that we're talking about. And so that's from the feedback that we have. So this is limited time, right? So push this out. Some graphics will be coming your way from Jimmy later on today. And Mike and Jimmy put together kind of the things for you to post out on your social platforms. So show up 6 o'clock on Zoom. It'll be in my room. It'll be on the thing. Actually, it's not going to be in my room. It's going to be in this room that you're watching right now, the training room. So it's webinar style. No cameras will need to be on. So everybody can just sit there quietly, peacefully, and watch what's going on. So 6 p.m. Thursday.
Right.
Show up.
And my advice would be go to your website, go to your Beachmaker presentation on your website, take that link and make a Moxie presentation to your whole database and invite them to your seminar Thursday night. And they can poke around and see, and if they're interested, they're interested. If they're not, they're not. But what else might happen? They might tell a friend about it. And they tell 2 friends and they tell 2 friends and so on and so on and so on.
But they might
Right.
not want that. Might want something else. Either way you win.
Right. Cool beans. I love it. Okay, $5 if you don't mind. Oh, that one. Okay, Blue Stars. Let's start at the top. I'm not gonna cover all this data because I want to be cover just $1 million starter home is the norm in 237 cities. Holy cow, Batman. A starter home for $1 million. That blew my mind. However, starter home values have grown 54.1% over the past 5 years, even more than the 49.1% increase from the typical U.S. home sale in the same period of time. 54%. So if you were a first-time home buyer and you bought a Park Square home when you first started selling those, what did they start at? Let's talk about Marisol Point. Over mid 500 over, but when they started. Because I remember talking to the president at the time, Steve, and he had, I want to say they had 500 pre-registered buyers for the rollout, and you've had steady price increases along the way. The point is, people that bought houses are building equity, right? And how do people get wealthy? They own real estate. Really cool. Zillow anticipates values to climb 2% in 2024. That sounds pretty low, doesn't it? But think about it. Chris, help me with the math. I bought a $400,000 house. I put $80,000 down. The house goes up from 400,000 to 2%, 480,000.
408.
408,000. So I made $8,000 on my $80,000 investment in cash.
10%.
Pretty damn good at only a 2% growth. So start thinking that way to explain it. Zillow now projects 4.2 million existing home sales in 2024. What were we doing in 2023, 2022? 5.5 to 6 million. I'll show you a graph on that in a minute. The median existing home price was 426,000, which is 4.1% higher than a year ago, but lower than the 5.8% year over year in May. So they're predicting a year end at 2, but we're at 4. But these are all up numbers. So prices aren't falling, values are going up. They're just not going up as fast as they were. There were 617,000 seasonally adjusted sales nationwide in June, which is down 0.6%, but the sales volume is down from the revised rate of 621. So they were down 4,000 sales. The median price of a new house sold was 417,000, which is down 0.1%. What's 0.1% of 417,000? $41.70. Crazy. Fed fund futures currently indicate traders are pricing in 3 rate cuts before the end of the year. I see that estimate change a lot. But right now they're saying, because the election year, we're going to see 3 more rate cuts, which will be interesting and keep buyers moving. Next one.
No, there's this morning at 10 a.m. there is a Florida Realtors webinar on the buyer brokerage agreement specifically for agents. Yesterday they had a brokers webinar where Joanna Watkins, one of the chief counsel for NAR, was there discussing the different questions. She reviewed the agreement and then answered a lot of Q&A. There's a link here. We'll send this out. I will send this out here shortly. Very quick. I'll just forward it right now. So this is at 10 a.m. So after you get off any of your meetings, if you wanted to watch the NAR or the Florida Realtors webinar on buyer brokerage agreements with Margie Grant and Joanna Watkins, the chief counsel, discussing that, it will be from 10 till about 11:30. They went yesterday. They went about an hour and a half, almost 2 hours.
Yep. Question coming. Yes. Yes, we can modify our commission agreement. Joe, you want to talk about Kate Rossi?
Yes, sir. Good morning, everyone. Yes, we are so lucky to have Kate Rossi, who is the president of agent development and leadership at Anywhere, coming to visit us on August 28th. She's doing 2 seminars, one in a Tampa office and one in the Apollo office, Tampa at 10 a.m. and Apollo Beach at 2 p.m. So this you all received this yesterday. I sent it out. Kate worked at Coldwell Banker. She was an agent. She was top agent for listings. She became executive vice president in Sarasota. Then she went to Connecticut and the corporate office. And she then worked for Realogy, and now she works for Anywhere. So she's part of all the group. And she's been going around doing this seminar to all the Coldwell Bankers and Better Homes and Gardens and Sotheby's. So we're really lucky to have her come here. It's a game changer for how to do listings, and I encourage all of you to attend. So mark your calendars, August 28th.
Very cool. Thanks for setting that up, Joe.
Yep.
Remember, your customers love you because they say things like this. Words cannot describe our experience with Mr. Griffin. Our overall rating is excellent. is not enough. 110% effort at every point in the process. So what are we recommending, Chris? We're going to take some of these real satisfied surveys and publish them on your website. Right? So you can start talking about that. If the other survey can.
Jimmy's done a tech tip as well on how to get your real satisfied surveys into your buyer representation agreements so that they can show up better whenever you send out your buyer agreements or your buyer presentations through Moxie.
Let's get two out of the way. Georgia Parker. Georgia did an amazing job from beginning to end. She was accessible, knowledgeable, and a true asset as my husband and I began the process of finding our dream retirement home. Her follow-up during the inspection process saved us thousands. Excellent experience. My husband and I highly recommend. That's good stuff to help you justify the commissions you're going to be charging. Okay. Just remember, all these trainings are recorded. They're there for the taking. Look for the emails from Angelique. Jimmy sent out a Google Doc. If you guys have questions, publish them. If you have them, somebody else has them. And we get 17. We'll probably be bringing out at the meeting tomorrow, which is at 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock in the South Tampa office. And one more. Oh, it's just reminding me to talk about the class tomorrow at 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock. That's good.
Just saying the Wednesday classes are all going to be a little bit different. So they're not the same class every Wednesday for the next, for tomorrow and then the next 2 weeks after that. What we're doing is we're progressively working through those with all the new information that we get out, bringing out role plays, incorporating all the new documents, showing you the presentations, walking through all the Q&A, taking all the things that we learn on the webinars from all the chief counsels and bringing that to you guys. So you don't have to watch all of them if you can't, but we definitely encourage you to try to take in as much information as you can.
Okay, 2 more slides and we're done.
They are being recorded. Those meetings will be recorded.
And they're on Zoom as well, but they're much better in person. Okay, this is Elliot Eisenberg, the economist that I follow, did a presentation yesterday, and I like this slide. Here's the deal. This is as low as it gets. His quote: "Get ready for the uptick." So going back to January of 1994, we were doing about 4 million home sales. Then around 7 or 8, we got up to over 7 million home sales. Then we dipped down, January low to 2. Then we hit pandemic time and we got back up to almost 7 million home sales, 6.6 million. And then we steadily declined down to 4 million home sales again, which is what we did back in 1994. That's crazy. But the key is get ready for the uptick is what he said. We can't go much lower. We're still having what? Deaths, divorces, births, population growth. And the biggest thing that we have as America is immigration. People are coming here from other countries. Like China has a net decrease in population coming. That creates problem. But for the United States, we're really in good shape. So I just want to share that last slide. Birthdays this week: Sarah Giddings in Apollo Beach is yesterday.
Mhm.
Tomorrow is Keisha Bell. August 1st is Felix Terrero for Brandon. And August 2nd is Heather Rowland with Tammy Vasquez. On the 3rd is Jessica Decker, our admin and closing lady. Miguel Salvat from Miami on the 4th, and Mike Johnson up in August 4th as well. That's it. Now, what's your target to get on the path to Centurion? $140,000. Average commission is about 10,000. So how many transactions would that be? 14. How many did our top agent do last month? 8. That's $83,000 in commission. But 8 transactions in a month. So it's 14 in a year, doable. Go for it. All right. Happy Tuesday. That's all I got.
Happy Tuesday. Just remember, please RSVP for the class tomorrow. We have the emails out, RSVP, so we get a good idea of the head count and we make sure we're set up for you.
Yeah, I'm going to make sure we get tables or just chairs.
Yep. Happy Tuesday.